D.O.C. is a Sun and Jin-centric episode, and this episode was unfortunately affected by a problem with a film that demanded Daniel Day Kim to reshoot all of his flashback scenes. It was devastating, since they were so satisfied with those scenes to begin with. Anyway, the flashbacks also quite cleverly mentions a deal.
우주된 운사 허가증을 저희가 아직 받지 못했습니다, 회장님.
한수 재단에서 우리 측에서 장비를 제공하지 않았다고 난리 났다는데.
For those out of the loop, the Hanso Foundation is the organization that funded the Dharma Initiative.
European social exclusive Danish industrialist and munitions magnate Alvar Hanso, whose financial backing made their dream of a multi-purpose social science research facility a reality. On behalf of the De Groots, Alvar Hanso, and all of us at the Dharma Initiative, thank you. Namaste. And good luck.
While Dharma was mostly concentrated on the island, the Hanso Foundation is a larger organization that had a wider reach.
Since the dawn of time, man has been curious, imagining all that is possible. The Hanso Foundation, reaching out to a better tomorrow. Discover the experience for yourself. Call 1-877-HANS-ORG.
Spirited debate. It's the cornerstone of our philosophy here at the Hanso Foundation. We're reaching out to a better tomorrow, and that means listening to our critics, even those who would lob unfounded claims from the darkness. We're confident in our mission. That's why we invite you. Talk about us. Discuss our accomplishments and continued progress. We are here for you. Thank you, and namaste.
In Lost, well, I really wish that we'd gotten more out of this ominous business in flashbacks. Seeing Mr. Paik's dealings with an organization that funded the Dharma Initiative is quite fascinating, as well as the fact that Mr. Paik is a friend of Charles Widmore.
I'm Sun Guan, Mr. Beck's daughter. I'm the managing director of Paik Industries.
Yes, of course. How is your father?
Excellent, thank you.
Quite the golfer. I believe I owe him dinner after our last game.
You see, almost a year before this episode aired, we had the alternate reality game The Lost Experience, which gave additional information about the Hanso Foundation, but also a little bit more about Paik. The majority of the information about the Hanso Foundation came from here. It's kind of like Pottermore. Everything you really need to know about Harry Potter can be found in the books. If you want to know the story of the Hogwarts Express or how Aunt Petunia met Vernon Dursley, then that additional information can be found through that game/website Pottermore. In The Lost Experience, we learned that Paik's company built the Helgus Antonius.
And are we any closer to finding Alvar Hanso? Why does one of the world's most powerful billionaires run and hide? Can a person like that even care what happens to the rest of us? Best I can tell, they're taking a new ship on an old route, but why? To find what? And what is it about this ship's design that makes it so special?
Minsu, so great to see you.
Dr. Middlework, good to see you too. Mr. Paik sends his warmest regards.
He's just saying that because we've paid him so much money.
Ah, I see that it's straight to business.
As always.
I think you'll be pleased to hear your ship is almost ready, with all the modifications. But I have to warn you, this kind of ship can't dock just anywhere.
We have a port. How long will it be?
I'd say no sooner than 3 weeks.
Could you pass the pepper? So what will it take to make it 2 weeks?
And finally, a man named Mr. Paik has built a ship for the Hanso Foundation, which could relate to Middlewerk's investigation of an island by the equator.
But they're not alone. They've all been joined by several members of the Global Welfare Consortium. Now, based on everything we've seen, the ship via Mr. Paik, the map, the island, the mathematicians in Iceland, the fire, the secret equation they've been working on, my guess is Middlewerk can only be here for one reason: to meet Enzo Valenzetti.
A cargo ship for the Hanso Foundation. If Paik had these types of resources, building a giant cargo ship for a shady company? Could Paik Heavy Industries and its subsidiaries have done something like this before? For instance, in the earlier days, did he transport building material to the island for the Dharma Initiative? Or in later years, did Paik's company acquire or build the freighter and sold it to a cheap price to his friend Charles Widmore? These are all thoughts and theories, but I like the idea that some of the vehicles, transportation devices, or just bolts or screws and engines that we see on the island were manufactured by Paik's company. And in a way, the most important transportation vessel for Paik was Jin, whose job was to transport an expensive watch from Sydney to LA and ending up on the island because he was destined to. Let's go back to the island. It is day 85, December 15th. It is still morning and Jack has finished playing ping pong. He finds Sun in the garden and asks her about the pregnancy. A little bit later, at the campsite, Sun confronts Juliet and learns pregnant women die on the island. Let's get to the east side of the island.
Who is she?
I have no idea.
She seems to know you, dude. She just said your name.
I've never seen her before in my life.
She's waking up.
Naomi, badly injured, says she is dying in Spanish. Hurley accidentally shoots a flare gun. Mikhail sees it. He's somewhere in the jungle. The others didn't stumble upon him when they left the barracks, so I think he has been in the jungle somewhere, likely on the east side. I wonder what he thought. Maybe he knew about the red rocket that the others fire in case Jacob is dead. Although the location here is not close to the temple, maybe he thought someone from the others signaled that Jacob was in danger. Or something else regarding him. The others likely didn't see it since they are currently in a valley and likely blocked by the mountains. And the beach camp didn't see it either, since they have one of the largest mountains on the island blocking the view. Mikhail stumbles upon the five in the jungle. Is chased and is captured by Jin. They take him back. Mikhail offers his help. At night, Juliet takes Sun to the staff. I think they go through this part of the jungle and come over here.
Where are we going?
There's a medical station near here. They have an ultrasound machine.
Claire and Kate told me about that place.
This is the same filming location as the previous times. At the Manoa Falls Trail. They go down this way. Sun tells Juliet of her affair. She takes Sun into a secret room in the locker room. This is a new area, which we haven't seen before. It has a sink and cupboards and everything from the nursery. The Dharma Initiative loved their secret rooms, so in case there were incursions on the island by the hostiles, they had their ways to hide, either in trapdoors, behind locked doors, or in rooms like this. Juliet sets up the instruments. Sun's ultrasound shows that she became pregnant on the island, meaning Jin is the father. Meanwhile, over here, Mikhail operates on Naomi, ventilating her lung, and is then allowed to leave. He attempts to steal Naomi's satellite phone and is stopped by Jin. At dawn, Juliet and Sun leave the staff.
I am very happy the baby's chance. You gave me good news, Juliet.
Juliet, however, goes back down into the secret room again, and secretly records a message for Ben about Sun's pregnancy. Juliet says it's 6 AM on a Saturday morning, and earlier she said it's been 90 days. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these conflicting information and the dates, especially since it's Thursday and not Saturday, so take my days with a grain of salt, since I am basing them on Lostpedia, and the show does a few bloopers with dates, directions and so on every now and then. Desmond, Charlie and Jin make a stretcher to carry Naomi back to camp. Naomi tells Hurley that Flight 815 had been found with no survivors.
They found the plane. There were no survivors. They were all dead.
What?
I want to address two off-screen treks. First, I want to talk about Mikhail, because in 2 episodes from now, he will rush to the others' camp and inform Ben about Naomi.
Where is Ben? Where is he?
But that's 4 days from now. What did he do for 4 days if this was so urgent? Well, remember, his station blew up and he didn't have any walkie-talkies. So maybe he first ran to the barracks, checked the houses and saw nobody was there. He could have done that earlier though, after he woke up at the sonic fence. Then he might have traveled out here to the temple. Maybe he knew that eventually the group would wind up there. He might have been hauled up at the temple. He might have tried some of the underground tunnels. Or maybe the group did an evacuation and went back to the yurts at the decoy village. Maybe he ran all the way there, to the western part of the island. That's a long stretch. And there was nothing. He could even have traveled to Hydra Island to see if Ben was there, looking around in the office area, and then going back to the main island looking for them. The second off-screen thing. Our group will trek with Naomi. I think they will go more or less the same way back, but very slowly, to avoid all the traps set by Rousseau in this area. In this episode, Charlie says it's an 8-hour walk one way. I think he meant the beach to the cable though. But they will spend approximately 3 days on their return journey. Therefore I think they made several stops. At first night they likely camped in the jungle or at the cable again, spending so much time traveling through the jungle avoiding the traps. The next day trekking down here, going slowly while carrying Naomi, taking lots of breaks to see her wounds. There might have been some heavy rains causing them to move even slower, yet again avoiding the lighthouse over here. As I illustrated in my video about Solitary, the characters are not meant to find it, not yet. And then to avoid the lava rock area, heading inland over here, they could have encountered a boar or slipped or something, causing them to take such an awfully long time. At their last day, they trekked all the way through here, through the well-known valley, and maybe stopped at the caves to get some fresh water. Maybe even rested there for a while until heading back to the beach, in a scene we'll see in the next episode.
What the hell y'all doing?
Which has a bunch of adventures all over the island.